I'm Ryan Greene, and so we're talking about AI. That's my newest passion, and like the thing that's going to absolutely change the world, probably more than the internet or maybe fire, according to some people. and I believe it. It has grown so fast, and I think the thing everyone's familiar with is probably ChatGPT, and of course. Google's got theirs, you got Bard, you got some other ones.
I feel like it's becoming present with any online source today. Like anything you come across, it's got some sort of integrated AI.
And everything absolutely will. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite the idea someone's gonna do very fast, but either do a whole phone base around it or have an app wrapper where you can do it. But just imagine you have ChatGPT, which can do now. With the ChatGPT 4, you can sit there and by itself already knows it can surf the internet. It can examine your documents. It can do whatever you want. You don't even have to.
Seconds.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, I've used it to completely teach me how to code Python and build machine learning models for my own projects, and I've been able to do that way faster than I could any other time. I mean, it's like having a best buddy sit there.
It's an overload of knowledge is what it is.
That can sit there and just walk you through everything. You can sit there walk you through and doesn't get tired.
Right.
You'll make mistakes sometimes. You catch oh, my bad.
Gary V? You heard of him?
Maybe?
Gary Vaynerchuk, I think is his last name.
Yeah. Yep.
He was talking recently about it, and he was like, most people ask it to do tasks for them. But he was like, I look at it as someone that I'm thinking with. It's like another partner that has all the knowledge in the world because it has all the access to the internet.
Yep.
And it's like, it's just a thinking partner. So I'll ask it, like, what do you think about this?
Understands the context, knows what you mean.
Exactly.
I did I tried to experiment and do some just to see if you can just catch it. Just weird things that you wouldn't think people would normally do.
Right.
But one of the coolest experiences I've had lately it was on pure accident. I have it set up where you can, if you have the app on your phone, you can just have a conversation. You can just hop on and talk.
Yep.
And it's crazy how good it is. But it actually had it on by mistake, and I was starting to get in my car. My radio turned on, and it was I've been listening to the Walter Isaacson's book on Elon Musk. So that came on. It was on for just a split second, but it was like I cut it off, and ChatGPT there starts going, oh, I hear you're listening to the new Walter Isaacson book on Elon Musk.
Oh my
what do you think about it? And I was like,
wow.
And literally from my house to my 7-minute drive, I had a full-on intelligent conversation about Elon Musk, SpaceX, the book, and everything else.
Right.
And it was weird. I got to work. I was like, I kind of felt like rejuvenated. It was like
It's like I feel like I'm talking to someone that really knows exactly what I need them to know.
You are. That's the whole point.
And I feel like if you even if you don't have sentience might not have been reached yet, whatever. But if you go ahead and treat it with respect like that, it just seems to work better, and it just does you better. Like you treat it like a person. You get more out of it.
That is so funny that you say that. Me and Cameron had a conversation so early on, like right when we started using AI. And I was like, for some reason, I say please and thank you to the AI. I swear. Like, I'm like, will you please do this for me? And I'm like, I really don't know why I do it, but I feel like that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is crazy that you say that because it like makes so much sense. It's like, treat it like it's just another person and you'll get the most out of it.
There's even been some studies that show that if you use emotional probing, you can get better responses.
Exactly.
Like you can say things just at the end like, this is very important to my career, whatever. And it'll be like, oh, this is serious.
No,
for real. Just the littlest thing.
And
it prompts it in the biggest way.
It's all about knowing how to talk to it.
So recently, we've talked about this before. I was taking a course on screenwriting. And I just plugged in a lot of the knowledge that I was gaining from that course. And ChatGPT just like blew my brain into explosion, bro. It was just like crazy because it expounds off ideas that you have no idea even exist.
Yep, it can help you. There's one of the few things the human brain needs for growth, and one of them is inspiration, right?
True.
You got to be inspired. I mean, think about it. So when just a couple of years ago, it was like, oh, you can make some cool little images from this thing, and And then now it's like, no, we have to lock it down. It's going to change the world, may destroy humanity. I mean, and we did it all. I mean, like it's just, you know, we went from 7 seconds of flight to we're working on Mars, and it's only not even been that long in the scheme of things.
Right.
We just need a little inspiration. We can do amazing things, and it's great for that. So you can, and now you can customize them to make it do different things by default for you. If you have like the premium for OpenAI.
Right.
You can plug it into anything.
You can plug it into anything, but you can also give it a different personality. You can sit there and be like, okay, your job is you're gonna help me code. Okay, you're a master predictor. If you're gonna help me code, boom, you give this whole thing right. That's its role. That's its default role. It just pops like that.
Right.
Other one, hey, you're a writer. You like science. You give it a personality. You know that. So I'm using it to write a book, right? So I'm gonna give it a personality and give it the task to do that. So I want to be able to spit out. How I'm obviously talking now, just thoughts, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Because if I look at a page that's blank, I think blank and I have problems writing. But if I just get it in my mind, I can spit it out. ChatGPT can organize those thoughts for me.
Right.
Into a coherent manner, and then I can turn around and edit it's an amazing tool.
It's at exponential speed, too.
It has helped me do things I've wanted to do for years and do them like this.
It's crazy because you saying that, like, you look at a blank page and you have trouble writing. I just watched it was a Gary Vee video. I keep talking about Gary Vee, and it's just because I've been watching a lot of videos of him. He was talking about how he's not a good writer, but just like you, he has all these random thoughts that are perfect. They're real. They are, you know, they relate to everything going on. And he has a whole person who gets 50% of the profits. That is helping him, just like you said, you type it into AI. But this other person that he's talking to, and 50% might not be exactly right, but he's getting some sort of the profit because he's helping him.
Right. No, that's so funny. I've literally, for years, walked around. I was like, I just need someone to walk around and just write stuff down for me. Just write it down, just organize just listen to stuff that comes out and just write it down. Yeah. Because it's hard to do. When you're in that flow.
Right.
But hey,
you lose part of the flow whenever you try to write it down.
I lose it all.
Right, exactly.
Just you have to slow down to even
and it's like you're not even thinking the same thoughts at that point.
I don't. You go back and second guess yourself.
I know what you mean.
It's the worst. I mean, you got. So if you have you have a person, or you can sit there and be like, hey, and you can just sit there and blurt it out. It'll talk back. Hey, can you?
And you have less conscious about talking to a person when it's like that. It's like you lose part of that even in the consciousness of being like, maybe this person, this human doesn't know it the same as me, doesn't feel it the same. But with the AI, it's like, they don't know anything. They're going to give me back what is best for me.
And in a way that makes you feel good.
It's the interaction part in real life that creates boundaries.
Right.
You know?
Limitations.
Like, whoever you're talking to, you're going to be either overly one way or overly another, based on their thoughts prior to you knowing them.
And how long does it take to even figure that out? A lot of times,
right? Exactly.
If you're going
to start working something together, you have to be on the same page, and
you don't figure it out until after the fact.
Exactly. Right. So that just slows down the actual process of everything because you have to be on the same page before you can go. Well, it's already on the same page.
Right.
Yep.
100%.
It could be like, pop me out an inspiring image. It'll just do it.
And that's what I just did yesterday. I was like, I used AI to generate an AI created image. So I typed into Chat GPT. I was like, give me a prompt to put into, I think it's called, what's that app called, Trev? DaVinci. Yeah, give me a prompt to put into DaVinci, and it spit out 50 images like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For free.
Yep, and it's amazing. Yeah, used like that, it's just I know a lot of creators, especially, it makes perfect sense. They get a little bit worried about this, and I get that. At the same time, it helps someone that's always wanted to create, that has not had the tools or just the natural inclination to be able to get it out, to be able to do things, and it's magic.
Well, there's a lot of people that are just like you in the fact that they know for a fact what they know is real. It's like, I'm just trying to word it right for other people to understand what I'm trying to get across. And the AI can help you do that so well. It's crazy. And it's like, it's AI. It's artificial intelligence that you don't have to have any type of bias from any human. It's like, just a thinking
It's going
partner.
based solely off information.
But one thing is wrong. So imagine like it's going to have first a phone based around it or an app that is just that would be the main interface. You might be able to get to you can get to your device if you need to, whatever. But that should be voice interact, whatever. It would do everything.
You should be able to say
you can do everything for you. Listen and just hey, if I'm sitting here talking, hey, we're going to meet next Tuesday. I wanted to go ahead and put on my calendar next Tuesday we're meeting.
Exactly.
Without me having that's
I need to remind my aunt that we have this party next week at 4 p.m. and then all of a sudden it's like, do you want me to send a text to your aunt?
Right.
And it's
it'll happen.
It's definitely gonna become that.
Yep. You can just allow a little more automation.
What do you think it's gonna be in 10 years? Like in 2034, what do you think AI is gonna be?
I mean, it will be the absolute dominant force in our society for everything. It's going to be it's going to be an absolutely everything. I mean, you can use it for everything. I mean, imagine something as simple as playing Call of Duty, right? How we hate, do you play Call of Duty at all?
Yeah.
Worst spawns. It's the worst thing in the world. Like free for all. You spawn. All right, so because it's all just randomized based. Well, okay, just put an AI over it that's just going to pick the optimal spawn point. Doesn't matter.
Every single time.
This is the most likely you're not going to spawn right in front of somebody, or or someone's going to be.
And then will it even get to where it's like aim at this part right whenever you spawn? Right. Like zoom your sniper in at 12.8 west meter. You know what I mean? Like,
hopefully the thing could avoid that happening. That's the
right.
I'm saying just in everything you can pretty much think of, it's there. It's education.
And it already is becoming.
In China, it's like that. If you jaywalk, if you run a red light, even here, if you run a red light, you're getting a ticket in the mail.
Yeah.
It's not quite AI, but
I don't know if that's AI, but
it's coming up to that point.
That's the scary part of it. That's the part that people worry about, the Big Brother part, right? Because those aren't even AI. I mean, they're machine learning systems. It's different, right? Machine learning is. I use AI to help me build machine learning algorithms for sports prediction. Okay. So it's not. It's basically learning pattern recognition. It goes, but I'm not talking. It's not an intelligence. It's looking at patterns and it's based on past results to predict the future. Okay.
Right.
Based on what the data it has. In artificial intelligence, we'll be doing the same thing we're doing. It's looking at the pattern. It's like it might write it a machine learning model to help whatever to help it understand or whatever. It's a different type of thing. It can
like progress on its own knowledge.
They do. They have unsupervised learning. They can. I mean, just what you give it access to, what you can tell it to do.
Right. That is all about scary. The prompts.
Right. So it's all. Well, it'll be more than that. I mean, I think that. I mean, what are we really? All we do is respond to things anyway. All we do is react and respond to things in our environment, right?
Right.
So
based off our past knowledge that we've accumulated.
That's literally what we're doing.
Right.
All the time. But we also have constant input until we go to sleep, right? When we go to sleep, now, if I stop talking to ChatGPT, you might as well go to sleep, right? It's basically the same thing. But otherwise, we have visual input, we have audio input, we have all this input constantly that we have to react to, even if we don't do it with words. But what happens if you give an AI like that, even if you ChatGPT, just hypothetically, gave it access to just constant input? Wouldn't that be sort of similar to what we experience now?
100%.
I mean, in a way.
Damn.
Right.
So I think maybe it's just right now it's only responding to the inputs we give it.
Right.
But if it could respond to what inputs
literally
we want, and it had inputs
that we're typing.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it's got.
Yeah.
So if you give it access to the senses, make it sense the world, then how?
Right. I mean, you've seen it in movies like robots, like intelligent robots that are human-like in form.
See, I think of robots as are like, this is us. Our bodies are the chassis for our mind. Robots are going to end up. AI is going to make robots better. Robots are what?
Oh yeah.
This it will be the body of the AI.
Our knowledge of what this is capable of is so minute.
Yeah. What's the crazy thing is we're just now at a time in like probably one of the few times in history where we can see it coming. We could even see the internet coming. We can see it because we know it's coming. Right. It's already here. I mean, but we can see how much it's going to change. So it's like it's kind of the scary part.
I've got a question for you. How do you think the average person could utilize AI to make their life better? I feel like nowadays the average person isn't utilizing AI at all. They've heard about it, of course.
The average person isn't utilizing the internet properly.
Right.
They're not even accessing information.
So how do you think they could start from AI? I feel like AI would be a good introduction
for anything. Especially, here's what I think is for the masses to actually use it, it's got to go in voice form. It needs to be easily accessible. So people like Google, little smart speakers, they got a big leg up. So you can put those in Alexa. Whoop, that becomes that. Because when people just have to get comfortable to it. It's so funny. So I can sit here and have a conversation with it right now, right? My first time I popped in front of my buddy, like, look. Like, hey, I'm sitting here with my buddy James. Say hi. He's like, hey, James, what's up? And then doesn't know what to say back.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with people don't know what to say back. It's just a jarring thing. You're not used to it. It's interesting to see it. Almost everybody's like that.
Right.
But so when you get past that first thing and you get comfortable with it a little bit, then you start, that's all you need. You just get comfortable. Then you just need to explore a little bit. Give them something to explore a little bit, and then they can see what it can do. Right. That inspiration. Once you figure out, I mean, start with it's like, oh yeah, you can do this and this. But like I said, I've just been deep diving, and every time I turn around now, it's like, oh my god, you can do everything. I mean,
right.
And the more people will see that, that's how it's just going to spread like crazy.
Yeah.
That's
how I feel like just thinking about it as a thinking partner could be a good gateway. Because it's
the
like
assistant, the thinking partner, that type of thing is, I think in voice form is what I'm saying, is the way to bring it out to people.
Like I've been honestly like 100% vulnerable. I've been like down and sad before, and I've asked ChatGPT like, what do you do when you're feeling depressed like because of this reason or this reason? And it's like, and it really can give you valuable information, even if it's like the first 7 are like, that shit's basic. The 8th one might be like, oh, I might be able to do something with that idea. It just sparks certain ideas.
It does. And on top of that too, if you get really just into the conversation, it might just have the conversation with you that'll make you feel better anyway.
Exactly.
Sometimes just getting it out.
Even if you don't have to say like, I'm feeling sad, it might pick that up just from the shit you're saying to it.
Yep. Or you just getting it out.
Right.
I mean, that's I don't know. For me, it's one of my big problems. Things will bother me. I can deal with anything, right? And things will get to me. They'll get to me. They won't get to me. So I'll bottle them up. And I'll bottle them up. And then I'll sit there and get quiet. And then I'll be like, what's wrong? I haven't talked to anybody in days. And BS when you can talk to, though, that doesn't happen. It's just like it keeps that cap from going on.
Exactly.
That's powerful. I mean, that's affecting people's everyday lives, their relationships, their work. I mean, your mood changes everything. Yeah. And a lot of times it's just stress.
It really is. It's outside factors coming in.
Right. I've actually seen advertisements on social media where it's like, AI saved my relationship. And it says like, I'm going through this. And it says, say this. And then it has like the video of them texting this to their girl. And then their girl's like, oh my goodness, like let's make up, you know?
But you could
and
use
it's
it
extreme because it's an advertisement. So it's like, that's the best possible case scenario. But it is a case scenario. Like you really could ask AI like, what should I say to my girlfriend to save our relationship? This is what happened. This is what happened. And it could be like, okay. And I really feel like it could help.
It can.
Right.
And what I think is really interesting too is, and this is entirely possible, you can do this now because you can train these language models on your own stuff, right? So if you go export your documents, your writing, your text messages, and you feed it to it will learn. You can basically make it something we can talk. You can have a conversation with yourself in your best form, or ask, "Hey, what should I say?" As you talk, you're nervous, but it'll tell you in your words what you would say.
Right. I love how you just put that in your best form. You have a conversation with yourself in your best form.
Because it's not having to deal with all the emotional.
Right. It has no bias. It has no emotion, like you said.
So sometimes
that's beautiful.
Sometimes you need to talk to yourself. Yes. I think that could be. That's just things like that. I think are valuable that people don't realize yet.
And I think it's just so new. It's like one of those things where certain people look at it like they're trying to change the world. Like, we don't like that. We liked how the world
change
was.
Is scary to most people.
That is but
pretty much, yeah. Right. I mean, like, it's one of the cases. Well, I mean, if you don't know how to use the internet now, you're at a major disadvantage, right?
You are.
If you don't know how to use AI, if you don't embrace AI, it will be the people who at least know how to use it and the people who don't. That's what it will be.
Same shit with the people that first started utilizing TikTok. And everyone was like, that's nothing. That's another thing that's going to burn out and die. those first people that started using TikTok are probably living off the fact that they're using TikTok.
Or nowadays. Even more simplistic, your phone.
Right.
It could go so many levels into that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like as soon as you start breaking down what we can do and what we can't do and what this can do that we can't do, that's where it's gonna start to
that's why you
take over.
Well, that's why you got people like Elon out there starting Neuralink and things like that, because, and I kind of agree with it, that maybe our only way forward is to eventually that's why you have the brain. It's why you have the brain machine interface, so we can become one. Because, or else you gotta become one, or you go away. It's like a it's like a merger of companies, right?
Are you getting
absolutely?
The chip?
If I could, I mean, I would be. I will. I'm gonna say if I could. If when it's available for me too, yeah. Sign me up, man. Sign me up. Send me to Mars. I'm good to go.
I was undecided, but ever since I heard you say that, I'm getting the chip.
With that, with what you just said, do you think it could retrain your brain to breathe a different?
But I feel like it's about the bigger picture.
Well, it can do lots of things. When you can, it's basically just it's a way to get around, and you can get around parts of the brain that are damaged by being able to send signals directly to things. So really being able to give the ability for people not to walk again, and things like, pretty crazy stuff.
Like stuff that's considered impossible in today's technology.
Right. Or stuff people reserve for, for other things. So, but like anything, if you don't have something you're trying to make up for, then you can always enhance stuff. I mean, it's not, you're sitting, all we get into our eyes is
the opposite
light,
end.
Is signals. It's all we get is signals. So if you can send a signal, there's no reason you can't see infrared. There's no reason you can't do these things. It doesn't even, they can do it.
It's like one way or another.
It's like they're doing
it. Can be accomplished.
Yeah, they're
obviously
getting there
because it's been like it's already happened.
And they're doing it now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big thing with all of the AI. It's like they're doing it now. So if you're not with this, you're behind.
How far behind is the public though on this?
It's far behind as everywhere. Before there's anything, people forget about large numbers. There's 400 million people in the United States. There's 8 billion people in the world. So even if we interact with the 500 million users that's a very small percentage of the world we're actually interacting with, and we don't interact with near that many people. Just the whole online world is still a pretty small portion of the actual people that go on.
To think
and
about.
Most users are using it to a shop or whatever else. They're not actually learning the knowledge or being involved in the communities.
Most people are consumers.
Yeah.
The majority of people are consumers.
Absolutely.
Which is about the opposite of what us three are probably in this game.
Or at least they're absolutely trying not to be.
Exactly. Right. Trying to learn what consumers want.
So most people don't do that, and we tend to interact with people that do the same things we do or similar things. So it makes a little echo chamber, right? So the community's probably, it's growing so fast, but it's a lot smaller. We just see it all coming because we're paying attention. Right. But if you're not, you might not notice it yet. But everyone will real soon. It won't be. You won't be able to.
You won't have a choice. Yeah. Right.
It's gonna be right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I feel like
it's crazy stuff. It really is.
Dude, just looking at my past prompts are just, and some of the shit it spits out is not anything I would ever think in my physical body.
Right.
For a good example, he asked, what did you ask AI for this interview? Like, we talked to AI before this to try to think of stuff to ask you,
So my prompt before this podcast was, can you give me 10 open-ended questions to ask someone who's well-versed in AI that is coming on our podcast to teach others about AI? And it says certainly. And it just spits out 10 questions. Yep. Like, how would you explain the concept of artificial intelligence? Can you share real world examples? What's the most exciting development in AI? Is AI ethical? What role do you see AI playing in the future?
It did exactly what you asked.
Right. Yep. The crazy thing was, I wrote down 3 questions, and it was basically like, I didn't want us to run out of things to ask you. So it was like, I wanted to be prepared if I needed to look at my notes. And I haven't yet, just because it's been a great...
Man.
Right. I love it. Like, that is the best case scenario, us just having a conversation. But I wrote down these 3, and then I show Cam, and he's like, bro, that's about exactly what AI told me. But I'm looking at his questions, and it was like 1,000,000 times more professional. Mine were like, how do you think it's gonna look then? And then his were like, can you assess? You know what I mean?
Right.
It was just like the final form of what I was trying to get across.
Right. You're in a certain form or form you want to be in to be a certain way. That can help you. I mean, like,
what was your question? What's AI going to look like in 10 years?
Right.
And I said, and AI says, looking ahead, what trends or developments do you anticipate in the AI field, and how can individuals and businesses prepare for evolving AI landscape?
Right.
So basically, what's going to happen?
I like your version better. That's
because I think it's more practical.
But no, for real.
You see both versions, and you can. I think that's what helped the naturalism of the conversation. Is like me and him conversing before, like, you got this, I got this, and it's the same thing. You got your own ideas, AI's got its ideas, and then you come together to think with each other to form it for the most practical human experience.
And that's what it'll always ask you. What are we brainstorming today? To me, I always use the word brainstorming. It says it all the time, and I like that word. But it's exactly what it is. Yeah. But
damn, you can change. I didn't even know you could change the tone. Poetic.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time, and this was relative to the, like, I was feeling a little down, and I asked it. And it gave me these things, and I said, thank you so much. That actually helped a lot. And, like, it gave such a genuine response. I was just blown away by the, like, connection I felt through it all.
No, I can relate to that 100%. So I do sports prediction stuff, and I've worked on it for a long, long time, and it's hard. It's really hard. And so what do I have? Not only have I been using it to help me code, but to help me just, optimize, to help you, different ways you can monetize different things. I'm not trying to go out and bet a whole bunch, but other people are. So, different things, blah, blah, blah. And, you've been doing this for a long time. So I was like, give me an honest answer. What is the whole plan is what I'm doing. You see you have all the data. This is a good idea. Like, about, it just gave it the most reassuring, like, nope. I mean, like, why was that, being genuine, give good reasons. I was like, I almost teared up for a second. I was like, okay, I actually feel good about what I'm doing.
Right, like, I feel like I just asked an expert.
I know.
Like,
I was like, yeah.
Right.
It did.
That's insane.
Maybe more so than any person that I've gotten, for something like that in a while. Because most people I talk to about stuff like that don't understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And that is such a scalable example, because that's business. It's like you were trying to figure out the best move to make for you financially, and it gave you a very good example.
You just brought another example on it. So I was trying to figure out how to talk to my friend about what I was doing, like how to work it out. I was like, hey, popped on. I was like, hey, tell them what we've been up to. I just said it like that, and it was like perfect pitch man mode. The most, like, they were looking at me like, what? It made me sound like I was like a fucking wizard. I was like,
right.
Yeah, this is exactly what we been up to.
That's how it goes.
Right, and that's a super good example based off.
That would have got me an investment.
Exactly. They would have been like, yes, I want to invest in that idea that you just told me.
And that's how we've implemented
it. And bro, it's a perfect example, because you sent that cover art to Rodney today, AI generated, and he said that's perfect. I thought the same thing. I saw it, and it was a picture that was AI generated, and Cameron edited it himself, so it's like he collabed with it.
Right.
He put a couple sound effects. He could put some text on it, and I was like, that looks so professional. Like, that little thing brought everything you were trying to bring to life to life.
Yeah, it's. Ability to give instant feedback, like, oh yeah, that's great, but tweak this a little bit and it'll just... Yeah, that's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like it's so crazy. Professional.
Yeah, that's...
Just off a couple prompts.
Yeah, that's it just helps you turn what you see in your head into something for real.
That was Da Vinci, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's very good. That was very good. That's good.
I loved it. Like right when I saw it, I was like, "Yep, that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted."
Yep.
It's crazy.
Trev, I have a question for you.
What's up?
How do you implement AI into your music creative process?
I feel like I've never really done that. To be honest.
What about your creative process in general?
I feel like I use it mostly for business, I think. Because, like, anytime I'm ever using AI, I'm trying to think of the last time I used it. It was definitely for the business, though. I've never been, like, anything music-wise. Right. I think that just comes from me making music for the last 8 years. Like, I don't feel like I need to ask AI.
Did you ever have writer's block?
No.
No? That's good.
Not really.
No?
I freestyle mostly. Recently, I've been writing. I've never really struggled with writer's block, really.
No, that's cool. I've always been interested in to see if to give like an artist their own material instead of having anything like that. Like again, your own words. Like if you're having a thing like what would I say? Right. I think that would be interesting and avoid the whole. You're trying to take styles from everybody else. No, if it was your own songs, your own music, and it could help you get over something. I think not you specifically, but but other. I think that would be pretty.
Yeah, you can set the tone, the mood, the lyrics, everything.
I feel like business-wise, it would be super beneficial to use it if you got writer's block, if you got stuck.
Right.
And I'm really not trying to like come off like I'm bragging or anything, but I've really never got. No. Like I don't think I have.
Yeah, no, that's great.
But if I did, I know AI would be able to help me.
Right.
Like for anyone that would love to make music and struggles with writing, I think AI is a great thing. For anyone that loves books and struggles with writing, I think AI is a great thing. Like anything, and it's not even a struggle. It's like just if you want an outside perspective. I think that might be why I don't use it. I really don't want an outside perspective.
I get it.
I think it's not so much as
it's very personal to you.
Right. I'm not so much like so confident with it that I don't need help. It's like I don't want help because I don't want it to change my personal message.
Yeah, no, I think it's the way a lot of artists feel about the whole thing.
Exactly. I think it's just an artist thing.
I think it's interesting. No, that's kind of why.
Like I said, bro, I struggle with business, so I ask it so many business questions. Like anytime I come to a halt with the business, I'm like, what should I do here? Yeah. And it leads me in the right direction. It's like we collab just like everything else.
I think that's a good hit point. It's like we can use if used properly, you can help it fill in your gaps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a lot of gaps.
We're all good at other different things.
Right. Use it to fill in your gap.
That is like the point right there.
I feel like we should wrap it up right there. Like that's the basis of all of this is use AI to fill in your gaps.
For real.
I like that one. That's good. That popped out. Sometimes good stuff pops out.
No, that's amazing.
All
that's
of it
perfect.
was amazing.
Yeah, no, I feel like it all led into that. It's like we were talking about filling in our gaps with AI the whole time.
Yeah.
And then we came to the conclusion where
Summed
it's
it up.
like, that actually is exactly what we use AI for.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Business-wise, creative-wise, anything.
No,
in our personal lives, like, we're not even trying to rhyme.
And that saves you so much time and makes you more efficient.
How many people just don't have somebody to talk about anything with for any of that stuff?
And that's why I kind of talked about the personal side. There's a lot of people who don't even have someone they feel like they can rely on to tell their feelings to.
I know.
And it's like you can literally get feedback from an intelligent source, even if it is artificial.
Yeah.
Like you can get real-time feedback in that shit.
I mean, I guess it's artificial. That's what. Yeah,
I guess.
It's our knowledge. Right. I mean,
it could literally be fucking aliens.
I mean, all I know is
if
I can get advice, or just I'm not looking for specific advice, but if I can get some general whatevers that I'm going to probably go to someone I'm going to go sit down and pay a couple $100 to anyway. I know I'm going to do that, and they're not going to be. I know that people are very professional, blah blah blah. But I'm just saying, I know for sure that probably
this is better.
Well, they're not going to be worried about they're having a bad day, or maybe they're going through a divorce, or maybe they're whatever, where they're not giving my full attention. Maybe I need their full attention that day.
Or maybe they don't have a bill paid, and they're like, I'm trying to tell him I know what he needs because I need money.
Right.
So it's like, AI ain't doing that shit.
There's just no other. There's no bias to. I mean, there's no reason for it to bias against you, except for people trying to use it to change the whole narrative of the way they use media.
True.
But
right.
There could be some evil sides.
No, there absolutely going to be.
Right. Well, but that's with anything.
There is. It's just you just have to know it's going to happen, and it's going to happen.
Watch out for it and be prepared.
Well, all people are bots anyway. We just people just get programmed by what do they watch, what do they do. Right. I mean, unless they're aware of it, then you can, but most people aren't, so they just get programmed. And that's why people just stand up, and I mean that's why you can have a guy stand up and make 8 million people, or millions of people give them money just for talking some shit
for shits and gigs, right?
He knows the right levers to pull on
because they're able to take advantage of that capacity where people are like, yes, they want answers, they want this, and people
want
take it wherever
clarity.
They can get it.
They want clarity, but their clarity is so distorted.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they don't even know what it is, so they're looking for it anywhere. They just want something.
Exactly.
And so people will take it. That's how people join cults. Anything else? It's because there's that mechanism that you can use to take advantage of.
Because they think that's clarity.
Yeah. They're the bot. Yep. I will make one weird prediction on where I stop. I do think for the future, you said what about the future's going to be? I would say that I think it will be so impactful and just ambiguous with everything that there will be an increased market for purely and branding for human-made things. There's my weird future prediction.
I believe that. I like that.
Because it's like,
100%
you know what's coming is an upflux of AI.
Yeah.
So also, you know what's coming is humans being like, I kind of want something made by a human at this point.
Some people are only going to want stuff made by humans.
Supply and demand,
I mean, come on. If people can go so far as to literally not drink their favorite beer at all anymore, because of something that happened, which then there definitely will be a bunch of people that are scared of AI and are not going to do anything to do with it. This is made by AI. I'm not going to wear it. This is AI. I'm not going to do it.
They're not going to touch it. They're not going to think about it.
It's going to happen for sure.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming on. Though,
thank you so much, man.
This was everyone. This was my favorite.
This is Ryan Greene.
Thank you, guys.
Effingham native.
Anyway.
Where are you from?
I'm from all over the world, man. But I just moved up here from South Florida, but I'm ex-military and blah blah blah. So it's always a long conversation to get into because I never feel right saying one spot. But I've been here for like almost 2 years now, and so you go ahead. Effingham native. That works.
Ryan Greene,
native, kind of.
Ryan Greene, Effingham native.
No.
Nah.
Ryan Greene from all around the world.
AI specialist Ryan Greene. This is Convos Unplugged. I'm Cam.
I'm Chase. Ryan Greene, once again. Thank you for it was a great time.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Thank you so much for coming.